Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's May 9th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And I love these kind of days. This was a nice range day, very clear range. The support and resistance relatively clear. The trends are relatively clear. So I kind of like these kind of days. And so you can see the trades here, quite a few trades. Somebody sent me an email saying they thought it was kind of slow, but this is kind of normal. Um, I mean, it's only an 8 point range, but the highs and lows are relatively clear, easy to find. So, and the trend lines are relatively clear and easy to find as well. So, but we'll back out here, talk about the trades, and wrap it up pretty quick today. It's just a pretty standard range day. Um, when I came in, prices had just gone up, and there's a break of this trend line right here, a new high, and look at that reversal bar. That was before I got here, before 7. That would have been a great trade. And look at that. You would have had a runner that would have made it all the way to the low side. I love those kind of setups, and that was a really good trade. But that was before I got in. But it gives you another chance to get in right here. Look how we just moved right through the EMA, pulled back, and tested underneath and get this big bearish bar. Your stop has to go above this green bar here, or the one with the green in it. But this is your signal bar. And what you could do is let it break lower and drop a limit order back in there a tick or so, and you would have got filled at least a tick back into that green bar, 2 ticks back into the signal to the entry bar, and then your stop goes above that, the one with the green in it. And you could have caught a runner on that one. Another big move down. We finally get a break here, and it goes lower, and you could have considered this is a failed second entry long after 2 big legs down. Prices are probably going to test this low, and that's exactly where it goes. So you might have wanted to enter here. It's a little bit aggressive. It's a huge bar, but if you saw the trap and you want to take it, there's nothing wrong with taking that trade if you're wanting to be a little aggressive. And we made a perfect double bottom. Look how far away from the EMA we are. We made a break, a move to a new low, a double bottom. Look at that big reversal bar. I made this one green because it's a huge bar. What you could have done is let it break higher and maybe dropped a limit order, and you could have gotten filled all the way back to here. So, I mean, it's borderline blue, but you want to enter back here, so I made it green because you did want to enter with a limit order. And you could have gotten, you can't be too conservative or you'll miss some of these trades, but you could have gotten filled more than halfway back into that bar when it came back right here. And then when it went up here and made a higher low, I liked entering right there because it's bouncing right across there. Everything's closing above that. Again, you might want to use a limit order, but as far away as that is, you could just use a stop. It's kind of a semi-neutral bar, so you might use a limit order. But that higher of a low and everything closing inside that line after having a little double bottom there, I like that back to the EMA. And again, this thing takes off, so you could have caught a runner and ridden this thing off here. Then we get 2 legs back, and you get a second entry long right here, right off that trend line. This actually went out the low side, turned and went up and out the upside. Just put a stop there. If for some reason you waited till this closed, you could have let it break above this bar and dropped a limit order back a tick or two and gotten filled. But since this went lower and then turned and went out the upside on a second entry on a pretty strong bounce right off the EMA, right off the trend line, I like that one for a stop. Then we just we get up here to the resistance. It makes a little lower high and it kind of goes sideways. It's tempting to ride that back. I think you're better off to wait because you're looking for a retest of this. So we get a break here, move to a new low, and then you get the retest and you get a new high. And I would have liked this better if it broke lower, but that's a nice bullish bar. Really, you could have gone long on the break above that one because that's your second entry. When it broke above, you might have used the limit order because it didn't quite close. It's not a perfect signal bar. It's not a bad one, though, especially when you're looking for a retest of the high. And look at it, and you've already had your break here and a move to a new low. Again, if it would have broke lower and then went higher, I would have liked it better, but there's still nothing wrong with taking that trade. Pulls back here, you get a first entry long. It pulls back, you get a second entry long, and hopefully you know why you don't go long right there into all that resistance. And that fails and turns down. You can go short right there. I'd probably, that's such a big bar. It is a failed second entry long. Um, so I'd probably use a limit order here and try to get filled. But if you want to use a stop there, you can. You would have had to ride this pullback back. And then this is a double top, so you really could have counted this as a failed second entry long, but it never breaks lower until here. And then by that time, you're stacked up and you got several dojis. It is a trap, but I think you're better off to wait. And guess what? It breaks higher and turns down and goes right out the other side. And then now you know you've got them trapped. And I actually took this trade, and the trade happened so quick that I couldn't record it. I was going to record this trade, but I did go in and record the runner and how I played the runner. And once we got down, I was trying to get out right where those lows where it bounced multiple times. And rather than let it bounce, I just put my stop one tick above. I think it was this one. I'll add that video on at the end. And so I think that was about a 4-point move down, 4 points in a tick or something like that. You'll just have to look at it. I can't remember. And then you might have considered going short right there because you got all that overlap and it's like a little failed break higher. So that's something to consider there. You can see that in a little failed break higher. So that one really should be green. Because you figure you're probably going to test that low, but it doesn't quite get there and it bounces. But it would have got your scalp, so I'm going to leave it green. Moves up, you get a break here, moves to a new high, and it turns down. And there's a little trap in here, so you could have considered that long, but there's just so much overlap. Look how flat it is, and we're looking for a retest of that low. So I think you're better off to wait. I don't really like this setup to the short side, but when it turned up and turned and went right down out the other side, it's almost like a repeat pattern of what we've already seen. That's a great setup. You could have just had your stop sitting there, but if not, when this one closed, either try to get it in the limit order or just put your stop right there because you're probably going to get a new low and look at it take off. Boom. And again, I'll show you I'll add this on the end where I recorded my runner here because I never can seem to get a runner on a video. I don't do very many, and seems like I'll never catch a runner. So I wanted to record and show you how I managed that runner. So it'll be at the end of the video. But that was another huge move down, another runner, and then you bounce. And look how far away you are from the EMA. I like going long there just for the bounce back. It's tempting to go long right here, but we're just going sideways again. The support is holding. We're back inside the support, but the EMA is acting as resistance. So, again, if you'd got that little failed second entry short, maybe, but I don't like going long there. I think you just need to skip that. And then guess what? Pull back first entry, pull back second entry. That's the first close outside that trend line. So you know you're probably going to make a new high. And you may have a bigger trend. Notice that's a bounce off that. That's a huge bar. So you definitely probably want to use a limit order and look how it comes back. I mean, this is what usually happens. It pulls back. You could have gotten filled back in here within the rules, and then it takes off. And you really could have entered here, but it's right back into that resistance. So I think you're better off to wait. And then it pushes through, pulls back first entry, pull back second entry. We're not back to the trend line. That's your first close outside. It is a second entry long, and it's another high or low. And so, if you want to be real aggressive, you might take that trade because the odds are we're probably going to the upper side now. So I did mark it lime green. It's real close to even not even being lime. I mean, it's very aggressive, but I marked it all the same. And then we just start going sideways here, and we get a little failed break higher, and then we try again, and look how bearish that is, and we're way past due to come back. It's a little aggressive, but it fits our rules, figuring we're coming back here. It's a little close to these lows too. So I did mark it lime green because it's a little aggressive, but it turned out to be a pretty good trade. It didn't get any runners on it. It came back and got this break even. And then where does it bounce here? The only reason the signal bar is not very good here. This is a pretty good signal bar. So you could have actually had this one as green. Right here. And when it broke above, drop a limit order back in here just to get a little better entry. And he would have got filled. You see it comes back. And your stop would have had to go below here. But your better trade is to wait because that's your first close. It tries to go lower and it closes inside the trend line. And when you get a break above that big bullish reversal bar, just go long there. And that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. There's actually a failed second entry short here, so you could have actually added on another one there or entered another one there because it's a trap. Notice the low, first entry, second entry. And you know you're probably headed here and you may be headed up there. So you could actually enter there too. And so that was it for the day. Real easy day. If you understand ranges, this was not a hard range. When it gets hard is when it gets stuck in the middle. When it works clearly from one side to the other and your trend lines are real clear, these days are not very hard as long as you understand price action and what prices are doing. And the trends are fairly easy to find, the whole 9 yards here. So this was a good trading day. So I hope you had a good day. I'm going to add on the runner I had right here on the trade, and so you'll see that in the video. And I guess that's about it. So I'm going to wrap it up and get out of here. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time. I got a nice runner here going. I never can seem to get a runner when I do a trade, so I thought I would show this one. I went in with 20 contracts. Notice we had a failed second entry long here and we broke lower. When we did, I dropped a limit order in. It quickly came back and filled it. And my stop moved to break even, but it never came back. And now we're working lower. We're just a couple of ticks away from filling me on a little more than 5 points here. Looks like actually 4 points. I probably could hang on this one to the low, but I want to give myself a chance to get out before it bounces. And we're so far away from the EMA that here we go. We're bouncing off my order. Let's see if we can get filled. Bounced pretty quick there. I'm probably not the only one buying right in there. There's been some support across there. Or notice there was resistance. It's acting as support now. And you hate to get stopped out or let it rally off a single tick right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down to 1 tick above that bar. I probably should just go ahead and exit it, but maybe we'll still get filled. We'll watch it a second. If this bar closes, I'll move it to 1 tick below that bar. But I'd like to see it get filled here where I had originally had it. And what I'm doing is I'm just getting a couple of ticks ahead of that area right there because that's the key area. So let's move it down to 1 tick above that bar. Just lock in what we got. And it's going to bounce probably. We're just so far away from the EMA, this thing's overdue to pull back. But I never can seem to get a runner, but this was a good one. And you don't have to be this conservative. Once if you want to be a swing trader, you could, there we go, we got stopped out. So we made $750 or so off the scalp, and I got another almost, I guess it was about 4 points. We got stopped out at 52. Entry was 56. So we got another 4 points in a tick or so. Off the runners there. So that was about another 21 that's another 105 ticks. So that was another 1,300 bucks on a runner there. And so it doesn't take but a few runners to really change your numbers. So you don't always catch them, but generally the place you are going to catch them is off the highs and lows, and then strong downtrends off the key entry points. So again, you might try 4 times and get stopped out at break even or break even plus one 4 times, but then when you catch one, it really adds up. So um, anyway, that was just a chance to show you how I managed a runner. But I'll throw this on the video at the end of our today's chart lesson, and just so you can see it. All right, I'm out of here.